again, I'm Tom and this is Real 6 String. So today's lesson we're going to be learning my top 5 essential riffs for any guitarist and how to practice them properly. The riffs that we're going to be learning are going to be Smoke on the Water, Seven Nation Army, Satisfaction, Come As You Are and Iron Man. I'm going to try and only focus on the most important of hand positions here because I want them to feel organic for you. Which means if you need to move, if your hands don't stretch that way, that's fine. But try and use different fingers when you're moving to different frets, because that's what will allow you to make things smooth as you practice it. And it might take a little while to practice this dexterity to move between different fingers, but that's all right. It will just take practice. Whereas if you use one finger, it's always going to sound a little bit lumpy, whereas if you're using different fingers to move, it's going to be a lot smoother. Number 1 is going to be Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. We're going to break this one down into 3 different levels of difficulty to give you a progression if you need it. So the first one, we're going to start off on our 3rd string. It's just going to be the open string to start. That's the G there. Then we're up to the 3rd fret. And then up to the 5th fret. Then back to the open string. Back up to the 3rd fret. Up to the 6th fret. And then down to the 5th fret. And then finally, the open string again. Up to the 3rd fret. Up to the 5th fret. Back to the 3rd. And then back to the open string. Okay, so it's a very, very simple riff. And try and get that one, and especially the timing in first before you try and move on. The second level of Smoke on the Water is just going to be to play exactly what we've done, but playing the 3rd and 4th strings together. So that's the G and D at the same time with all of the same frets as we did in the first section. You just need to hold down both frets, preferably with one finger if you can hold them both down effectively. But to do exactly the same thing as we did, but both strings at the same time. The 3rd level of this one is to use our traditional power chord shapes. So we start off once again on the G, which is the 3rd fret on your 6th string. Then we're taking that up to the 1st fret on your 5th string there. And then we're taking that one up to the 3rd fret on the 5th string. Then we're back to the starting place, 3rd fret on the 6th string, so you just move that directly up again. Same motion again to the 1st fret of the 5th string. And then from there up to the 4th fret of your 5th string. And then down to the 3rd fret. And then the final part, straight up from there again, to the 6th string. Up to the 1st fret of your 5th string. And then up to the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Down to the 1st fret again. And then finishing off 3rd fret of your 6th string. And that's the one that I played over in the introduction there. Number 2, we have Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. For this one as well, we can more or less play it all on one string. So what we want to be doing is starting off on the 7th fret of your 5th string and playing twice on there. And then reaching up to the 10th fret, try and use your little finger. So it might be a bit of a stretch to use one of your other fingers, but seeing as we're coming back to the 7th fret afterwards, it's much smoother and much quicker to use a separate finger. So you've got 2 hits on the 7th fret, and then up to the 10th fret, and then back to the 7th. From there, we're moving down to the 5th fret, and you're just going to have to move your first finger down for these ones, and then down to the 3rd fret, and then down to the 2nd fret. For the next line, we've got a very similar part to the one we've just played, but with a very small alteration. So once again, we've got 2 hits on the 7th fret, then up to the 10th fret with your little finger, back to the 7th fret, where you can keep that finger on the 7th fret the entire time. No need to move it. Down to the 5th fret, then down to the 3rd fret. Then if you can, bringing your ring finger up to the 5th fret. You don't have to move your index finger for this one either. Back down to the index finger on the 3rd, and then down to the 2nd fret there. The final part of the song is the build-up, and all that is 8 hits on the 3rd fret on your 6th string, and 8 hits on the 5th fret on that same string. So you can use the same finger, you can move it up, or you can use a different finger, it doesn't entirely matter. And that's the entire song. If you feel like you're ready for the chorus bits and the parts where you want it to be a little bit bigger, you can feel free to use the power chords. So it can make it seem a little bit bigger, but that's up to you. Take it at your own pace. Riff number 3, we have Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. This one is a really short riff that repeats quite a few times around. So what we want to do to start is to root our index finger to the 2nd fret on our 5th string. That one doesn't need to move for this entire thing. After that, we're playing 3 times on that one, but the 3rd one is really detached from the first 2. So it's going to be like... Okay, so there's a bit of a gap there, and that 3rd one happens just before the next note, which is going to be our ring finger coming up to the 4th fret, still on the 5th string. So it's going to be like... Okay, and from there, directly after that one, little finger comes to the 5th fret. Okay, so that's all of the notes we need. Initially, it's going to be... Okay, and then we have 2 hits on the little finger, but the second one is going to be a pull off back to the ring finger. So it's going to be... And then the last one is going to be a pull off from the ring finger back to our index finger. If you can't do the pull offs initially, don't worry. Just make sure you're playing every individual note. So that could be... Okay, so you don't have to do the pull-offs, but it will make it a little bit smoother when you're ready. And number 4 is Come As You Are by Nirvana. This is the only one of these riffs that we have to use 2 separate strings for. But it's also easy to remember because you only have 2 frets to use. So for that, it means that whichever fret you're using is the same as the number of the finger you're using. So your first finger is 1st fret, which is your index finger, and second finger is 2nd fret, which is your middle finger. This song is also built around one section that repeats over and over again, except with this one, there's a small introduction to it, which doesn't repeat, and that's everything there before the black line. So the end of the riff leads us back to the 1st fret and the 6th string anyway, so it doesn't matter. So it leads us to the same place. Okay, so all of that introduction is 2 hits on the open 6th string, then 1 on the 1st fret of the 6th string, and then everything else is a bit that we repeat. So from there, we're going to put our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, and we're going to keep that there when we play the next little bit. So we're going to do the 2 on the 6th string where we are, and then up to the open 5th string, and then back to the 2nd fret on the 6th string, where our finger already was, and then to the open 5th string again. And then we're moving back to that 2nd fret on the 6th string for another 2. Back to the 1st fret on the 6th string. Back to the open 6th string. So to give a slow run through up to there, what we're going to have is... Okay, and then after that, we're putting our middle finger now on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and we're playing that one once, and then 2 on the open 6th string, then back to the 2nd fret where our finger still is, and then that same bit we did, which is now going to lead us back to the repeat, the open 6th string, and the 1st fret on the 6th string there. And that's the whole thing. And our 5th and final riff here today is going to be Iron Man by Black Sabbath and Tommy Iommi, the undisputed king of the one-note riff. Once again, this is a repeating riff that goes over and over, and you can do it all on one string. We're starting off on the 2nd fret of our 5th string. We jump up from there to the 5th fret, and we play that one again. And then we play twice up on the 7th fret. And the only part where I'm going to recommend a finger position is when you're doing the 10th fret to the 9th fret. So it's much easier if you keep that index finger on the 9th fret and you're going 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, 9. So if you don't move the index finger, it's much, much easier and it's much, much smoother. And then we finish off that one, hitting twice on the 5th fret of the 5th string, and then twice on the 7th fret. And there we have it, my top 5 essential guitar riffs for any guitarist. Practice them, have fun with them, enjoy them. They're great fun to play through and it's fantastic for the practice. So thank you very much. As always, I've had a great time making the video. It's been fantastic fun dissecting these riffs and having a look into them, and especially fun getting to listen to them. So please drop a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you want any more videos in the future. And thank you very much. Happy practicing, and I'll speak to you in the next one.